This week, a guy with some of the quickest feet in the NFL and on the dance floor, a 2012 NFL MVP, and a definite first-round selection of your all-time fantasy football teams. Running back, Adrian Peterson.
All day, DK. This episode of One Star Recruits, as always, is brought to you by 500 Level. It's 500level.com for all the best t-shirts and sports. Vikings fans, they got Jordan Addison, Monday Night Football hero, your guy Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins, all the best Vikings on 500level.com. Go check it out. 20% discount on everything with the code ONESTAR. Let's go, DK.
Hey, what's up? I'm Adrian Peterson, and you're on the One Star Recruit podcast. Yes, sir.
Yo, aloha. Welcome to the One Star Recruits podcast. I'm DK, joined with my best friend of 30 years, Rip. Dude, dancing is such a particular thing for people, for human beings. My mother, listener of the podcast, Rip, is one of the better tango dancers in all of the Southwest for her age bracket. She loves it. It's her passion. She loves it. As I get a little bit older, I seem to be becoming less of a dancer in my older age. I don't know if it's curmudgeon, but I think back to my college days of going to the club, or $1 you call it, on Thursday nights, and I was okay at doing a couple dances. I could do kind of the Usher foot slide, move a little bit. I could do the standard grind up, which was big in the 2000s, bro. The 50 Cent, to the window, to the wall style. Big expert at that dance. Seems like that's not really a thing as much anymore. It's kind of a place where you can let your spirit go. You can be a free spirit on the dance floor a little bit. What's your go-to dance move? And what's your best memory of actually nailing a dance move, maybe at a wedding or another event where you just felt hella positive about yourself, Rip?
Man, DK, for me, it's always been the worm since about probably 2005 at weddings.
Oh, yeah. You're a big worm guy.
I did it at your wedding. I did it at my wedding. I've done it at many weddings. I haven't done it in about probably 10 years. So I'm due, man. I'll probably break a vertebrae or break my spine or something. But it's always been a one-star worm, and it's not even really a dance. You just kind of crawl around on the floor. But yeah, there was a point in the early 2000s where like crowds were gathering around because it was known that Rip was going to do the worm at weddings. So those are the glory days for sure, man.
What stage did you wait until the wedding reception? Did you feel that you felt the energy of people actually wanting the worm from you, and then it was a big thing? What comes to mind of you doing the worm exactly? What memory? What wedding?
Oh, I'll tell you the exact thing. It's you asked Adrian in this interview coming up what his go-to dance song, and it's for me, like without hesitation, it's always Bring 'Em Out by T.I. And like even every wedding I was at, that was on the list because it was known that Rip was going to do the worm when that song came on. I remember multiple times standing in line for a drink, like middle of the line, or even front of the line. I hear that song come on. I leave whatever I'm doing. One time I think I rushed out of the bathroom because I heard the song come on and I just knew it was time. It's like Eric Gagne coming out of the bullpen, or Trevor Hoffman coming out to Hell's Bells, man. You just know that's what that means.
That's your time. Or you're going to continue it. So I know we go to less weddings now. It's kind of in 20s and 30s you do a lot of weddings. Is it retired? The worm is still going to come out? Do you have maybe an event planned with your children where you want to introduce the worm?
Hey, I'm not getting any younger, but as they say, man, as everyone knows, it's definitely retired. But as everyone knows, man, all the greats at some point come out of retirement. So when the time is right, I'm open to it. That's all I'm going to say right there. Is if it happens, it happens. But when the time is right.
I think the dance might be coming back. Vikings fans, don't get upset with me. I think I saw Cameron Bynum. They beat the Niners this last week, and Bynum had like 2 or 3 picks. I think I saw him do the worm with one of his teammates. I think it might be coming back. Stay true, man. Great dance move. I'm glad you have positive memories about dancing. It can be a thing that's sometimes difficult for people to actually muster up the confidence and the swag to get on the dance floor, but it's always pretty freeing, man. Our guy Adrian Peterson did Dancing with the Stars. They always have athletes on. The athletes always do pretty good. He didn't make it out of the first couple of rounds, but like you said, he challenged himself for a new thing. Dancing is not for everybody. And I think some of the people that get out of their comfort zones on Dancing with the Stars leave getting the most out of a show like that. And like you said, he's stepping around into other things besides football, maybe broadcasting. He realized professional dancing might not be a calling, but I'm proud of the dude for getting out there.
And as he noted in the interview, man, not officially retired yet. So who knows? We might at some point see him back in an NFL uniform. I believe he's 38, which is extremely old for a running back. But man, he looks like he's in crazy good shape, especially after that Dancing with the Stars a few weeks, and always staying in shape down there in Texas.
Let's make that clear. He did say he officially has not retired. He's on that Latavius Murray, keep this running back train going just in case, because there's so many injuries to figure out where you fit in. You never know. I think RG3 hasn't retired yet. Former quarterback. He's doing broadcasting. AP, a couple of these guys are yet to retire. The funny thing about not retiring is the only thing that kind of pushes back is his opportunity. While I'm saying this little thing, Rip, think of a team that could sign Adrian Peterson right now and use him successfully. I'll get back to you. But you need 5 years. So with that said, what is it? He ended playing in 2021, but didn't announce it. So we'll see. This guy's definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer. He said he can get 120 right now. What team right now, Rip, could use this guy?
I mean, the first two to come to mind are the Cleveland Browns. Nick Chubb out for the year. They just had Jerome Ford go down for a couple weeks at least. He could be a little fill in there and give you some carries up in Cleveland. And the second one, and I know Vikings fans won't like this, but the Bears, man. I mean, they had Khalil Herbert go down. He's out for a while. They got a couple backups doing good work there, but you see all the time veterans get signed. Julio Jones just got picked up by the Eagles. I mean, it happens. So I could see Adrian Peterson getting 5-10 carries a game and not doing a bad job out there.
Yeah, man. I'll take you back to 2012 really fast. I mean, this was a great year for Adrian. This was a great year in life. I mean, the Lumineers are playing in the background. Maybe that song about somebody that I used to know playing in the car. The stock market is just pumping along. It's kind of an obscure year, that 2012. A Gangnam Style by Psy. Big time song going on. 50 Shades of Grey, I think, was the book in 2012. Just a great time. Everybody's living their life. And meanwhile, Adrian Peterson is fresh off of an ACL and MCL tear from December 2011, which is nuts. 2012 pops up. Dude has the most impressive seasons by a running back in history. He fell just short of breaking Eric Dickerson's single season rushing record. The entire kind of NFL world was captivated. I mentioned in my intro the fantasy team. This was the first year that we started definitely identifying number one fantasy players early, and that was that. It was a lock. It was just a great year for Adrian. I think a great year for the One Stars, and for me and you. Yep, Rip 2012. It was a great year.
Yeah, 2012, fond memories. I had little idea that the next year I was going to meet the woman of my dreams and end up getting married like 2 years later. That was my last year of single life, so that's my main memory from it. But living in Los Angeles, right near the beach, I mean, can't beat that.
Yeah, it's been the same movie with the Minnesota Vikings too. I mean, football wise, kind of 2012, even to 2023, 10 years later, they got a much needed big win against the San Francisco 49ers, who, by the way, are on the rocks a little bit. They have Cincinnati coming up next week. So we could be looking at a 3-game losing streak for these 49ers. But the Vikings, with no Justin Jefferson, really a gutty performance by Kirk Cousins. I mean, that defense was coming every play, Rip. Since he's been to Minnesota, I think. I was really proud of Kirk Cousins. Vikings fans like our guy Seymour in Utah are so happy. But like I said, they've seen this movie before. It's not the Cardinals movie, where we're just happy to make the playoffs. They actually have significantly good regular seasons and can't put it together. I know they need Jefferson back. I know they need some things to kind of step up on their defense. Sneakily, Minnesota's not out of it. They're like the Pittsburgh Steelers. You think they're terrible, but you look at their record, they're right kind of in the mix. They're right where they need to be. Minnesota Vikings, Rip, without Adrian Peterson, as the roster lays now with Jefferson, hopefully coming back in 3 or 4 weeks. Can they make that push to the Super Bowl this year?
Ooh, Super Bowl is a tough one, DK. I mean, they were in the playoffs last year, but playoffs is definitely not out of the question. They're 3-4. If you look at the next 6 games, it's Packers, Falcons, Saints, Broncos, Bears, and Raiders, DK. To me, like 5 of those are definitely winnable, and really all 6. So if they come out of that and get Justin Jefferson back on the back end of that in the home stretch, I mean, you're looking at the Vikings getting a wild card at this point.
But that's like the Cardinals. That's our guy. Our guy Seymour doesn't care about the playoffs. It has to be Super Bowl or bust every year with this team as constructed. I wish them luck. I unfortunately don't see the same drive that some Super Bowl contenders have. Look at Philadelphia Eagles. I put them more in that, even that the Buffalo Bills, and then we'll take them down a notch to that other tier where, good luck, but we'll never see them in the Super Bowl. The same thing you just did. You ran around it. I ran around it. Adrian Peterson did not run around it. He's keeping his eye on football. What's kind of fun about Adrian Peterson is you see a lot of jerseys still at football games, man. I mean, he did play for the Saints. He played for our Arizona Cardinals. Adrian Peterson Cardinals jersey is still a good one to see in the stands if you see it. The Washington Commanders. He played for Detroit, Tennessee Titans, the Seattle Seahawks. Dude grew up a Dallas Cowboys fan, but he's raising his family outside of Houston. Wonderful interview. Enjoy this interview with Adrian Peterson.
Now joining the One Star Recruits podcast, we have a husband, a father, a native of Palestine, Texas, the 2012 NFL MVP, and a guy who may have just been eliminated from Dancing with the Stars, but still far and away the best dancer sitting on this podcast right now. We got all day Adrian Peterson on with the One Star Recruits. Thanks for hopping on, Adrian.
Hey, no problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, we're excited to have you, and we've had this interview scheduled for a little bit, but it just so happened that you and your dance partner last night, Britt Stewart, got eliminated from Dancing with the Stars. Tell us where your head is right now following what might have actually been probably your best dance performance of the season, and what's next for you in the days and the weeks ahead?
It really sucked, getting eliminated. Because like you just said, I felt like it was our best performance. There was no negative remarks from the judge. We ended up with our best scores, within the 4 weeks. So I was actually shocked that we were eliminated. So I ended up just hopping on the first flight home. So I'm back to daddy duties and being able to be around the kids and the wife and the newborn, and I get to go see my son play later on today in his playoff game. So,
Nice.
it was bittersweet. But just looking forward to what comes next. I've always wanted to get into broadcasting. So, maybe that's the direction I go. I'm just going to see, what kind of opportunities present themselves so I can make sure I continue to be active and, get my face out there more. And, because I've been done playing football for about 2 years. So I know people are always reaching out on Instagram and Twitter and just say, what are you doing next? What's coming up next for you? What's coming up next? So having the opportunity to do Dancing with the Stars was really great for me to kind of get myself out there, come out of my comfort zone and do something different. And just kind of get my face back out there too, So I'm excited to see what comes next.
Congratulations, man. It's just staying in the present, because what next? Yeah, I love broadcasting, by the way. Love that for you. Staying in the present, though, we're going to talk some football stuff, but you're a real dancer now. I got some quick hitters to help myself. I have some weddings and some golf rounds coming up that might involve dance moves. So I got to know, what's your 5-star go-to dance, let's say on vacation in Hawaii? What are you pulling out? What dance move?
I've been working my hips a little bit, in Hawaii. What's my dance move? I'll probably do like some salsa or something,
Nice.
I think you can kind of get away with that with any wherever you go. You can always get away with a little salsa,
Yeah, a little salsa. You get a little Hawaiian reggae going. Let's say you're at a wedding. What song is a must play, and what's the dance you're doing to it now?
What song is a must?
If you hear this song at a wedding, what gets Adrian Peterson up off of his chair onto the dance floor?
I would say 24K Magic.
Good one.
That song is amazing. It's obviously, a song that gets the body's moving, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that one for sure.
It's a great one, man. Okay, I got some golf outings with the homies coming up. Let's say I make a 25-foot putt. What's Adrian Peterson's celebration on the golf course after a long putt is made?
Oh, I'm going with the Tiger celebration.
I should have known that. I should have known you were going with a nice hard fist. Yeah, I know. I got to work. I don't make a lot of long putts, but I need a better celebration too. I think I just do the two hands in the air. Um, what can you do? Well, good stuff, man. I'm really happy that you're out doing new stuff. It was so cool to see you on Dancing with the Stars. Let's talk a little football though. It's kind of good timing having you on now. Your old nemesis in the NFC North, a guy named Aaron Rodgers. He tore his Achilles last month. Everybody knows, not positive. He's walking with crutches. We saw him throwing a ball last week. For listeners out there who don't know, Adrian had ACL and an MCL tear, and you did one of the quickest recoveries. It was different than Aaron Rodgers, but you were back in 8 months too. From your experience and what you've seen, can Aaron Rodgers come back and play for the Jets this season?
I believe he can. Knowing Aaron Rodgers and having conversations with him, and I've been watching him since he was in college. But being able to play against him and talk with him, I know his mindset, and ultimately, I know that's really what it comes down to. Like what's your belief system? How do you believe you're going to recover? How fast you believe you're going to recover, and obviously the things that you're doing that's going to help accomplish that goal, because it's going to be something that's difficult, of course. But if you have the right mindset, the right people around you that's helping you, the right team, then he can definitely come back and play. I believe in him. But that number one ingredient is having faith and believing that it can happen.
Mental resolve. Yeah, you heard it from Adrian. That's such a great point. Same thing with your Minnesota Vikings. Not a good start to the season. Justin Jefferson's on the IR. Kirk Cousins last year of his contract. What's the near future outlook for your old Minnesota Vikings?
Definitely having a healthy Jefferson is a good outlook. So making sure he comes back and he's healthy. With the quarterback situation, I don't really know. Cousins, like you say, he's on his last year. I don't know. Maybe they will extend him. Maybe they might try to go in a different direction. I don't know what the feel is for them. I don't know, man. It's kind of rough to kind of say right now.
Yeah.
Because I know there's gonna be a lot of moving pieces, and we have the talent offensively and defensively. But it's not showing. We won this past week, against Chicago, but I don't feel like we are in a position that we should be in with
Yeah.
the talent that we have.
When I watch him play, it's the same thing you mentioned with Rodgers. There's a lot of heart I see on some plays and wanting it more than the other team. Wishing him the best, but it's going to be tough without Jefferson. He is so good. Sticking in Minnesota, you said early in your career, actually all your teams, Adrian, for that matter, as I think about it, but we're talking Minnesota. You said early in your career you wanted to be the best player to ever play the game. Listeners, this guy put in 15 years, currently number 5 on the NFL's all-time rushing list, a 2,000-yard season, 7 Pro Bowls. Pound for pound, one of the best to do it. Adrian Peterson, in your mind, have you achieved the goal of being the GOAT in terms of running backs?
I feel like if I'm being honest with myself, I feel like I have. I feel like I'm right there with Barry Sanders. I feel like I'm right there with him. Totally different styles. Totally different styles. But I believe what I brought to the game was something different. Totally different than what you get with Barry Sanders. So it's a lot of people that might sit there and say, okay, I'm not really in agreement with you. But as far as my mindset and my outlook of the game, the game of football and playing in the National Football League, you got guys like Sweetness. You got guys like Jim Brown. You got guys like, even though his career was short, like Bo Jackson, right? And their style of play, right? I feel like I was a combination of that. Obviously I wasn't as fast as Bo Jackson, as quick as Barry Sanders, or slick as Barry Sanders, and maybe some people say not as sweet as Sweetness, but I felt like I had that perfect blend of playing aggressive. I could make you miss. I had the heart and the desire, and then the number one thing was the passion. The passion that you play with. There's not one game where you can question if I was passionate, if I wasn't out there trying to lay it all on the line. And for me, that's what I enjoy. I enjoy seeing guys out there that play with that same mindset, that same ferociousness, because you don't really get that nowadays. You don't really
You
get it.
don't. You don't.
You know?
And you know what? You won a lot of people fantasy football titles, AP. Also, I think when I watch guys like Bijan Robinson today, who I know watches Barry Sanders and Adrian Peterson highlights on the regular, now it's a combo of those guys. And you are a major part of that, man. It was an honor watching you run the ball for those years.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. And that you speak of that kid, man. I'm watching him, man. Like, I didn't really get to watch him. I'm from Texas, right?
He's from Texas and then Arizona. Yeah, he's a Madden player. He is a Madden running back. The way he moves his body.
Hey, man, I watched some highlights. So when he was at Texas, I didn't really, I didn't get to watch him like that. University of Texas, I didn't get to watch him like that. But I caught some highlights the other day, and I was like, wow, like this kid right here is phenomenal. Like he runs really hard, and obviously his moves, man, like making guys miss. And that jump cut is ridiculous. So he's a guy that I'm like, okay, whenever he's playing, I want to watch him and see what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? And you don't got a lot of guys like that. You got Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, but it's only a handful of guys, two or three guys that make you be like, hey, you know what? I want to watch them. I don't care who they playing. I want to watch to see what this kid does. For me, that right there was my main objective too. Like being able to inspire the youth. I want guys to be like, you know what? That's how you run the ball. That's how I want to run the ball. I want to be physical like that. I want to be, relentless. I want to leave everything on the field.
Mission
All right.
accomplished.
There aren't that many guys that jump off the screen, and you were definitely one of those, and I think Bijan is as well. Adrian, we end every interview with the segment we call 1 star to 5 star. Everybody knows we're 1 stars. We're trying to get better with advice and tips we have from every guest we have on this podcast, like yourself. So just a few. I got 4 more questions, and we're going to use a 1 to 5 star scale for the answers. 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest.
Yeah.
We just mentioned Bijan. He's a rookie, but there's a lot of really good young running backs in the NFL today, and even some more good ones coming up in college. Who is the besides Bijan, like who is the let's call it the 5 star running back that Adrian Peterson loves watching in today's game?
I would definitely say Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey, and Saquon Barkley. Those are the 5 star guys that I would put up there right now.
Okay, great.
I like Jonathan Taylor too, for the coach.
The future is bright for sure. We've mentioned 15 seasons in the NFL, but you haven't carried the ball in almost 2 years now. But I can't help but notice, man, you're not officially retired. A, is there a reason for that? And B, on a scale of 1 to 5 stars, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest, what are the chances we see Adrian Peterson in another NFL game ever?
Yeah, the reasons for that is because I still have the desire to play. You know, I still have the desire to play, and I know I can play at a high level. I see a lot of teams in a running game, and I'm just like, man, I could help the team be more productive when it comes to moving the ball and moving the chain, right? So that's the reason I haven't officially retired because I'm waiting for that call, and I would say I don't know that second part is kind of hard because it's me being a veteran. I've been out for 2 years. It's like it's kind of out of my control to a certain extent. But I would say just kind of in the middle, say a 3.
If you got 20 carries today, how many yards you getting for us?
Oh yeah, by 20, I'll get you about 125, 130. Depends on
Ooh,
that can that easily shoot up if you break one for 50, 60, 40.
all right.
Yeah.
The man's not even 40 yet. Come on, let's go. Okay, we got to close this one out with something for the OU fans. It recently came out that former Oklahoma coach Lincoln Riley, who's now at USC in Los Angeles, he says it's nice being in LA because he can actually go to restaurants and not be recognized all the time, which is crazy. But it's really the opposite in Norman, where football is just everything. For
Yeah.
people who haven't experienced that culture at OU, can you shed a little light on just why it's so different there? Like being in the spotlight with all those diehard fans, it must have been unreal at such a young age for you.
Yeah, it was, man. It was unreal. It was unreal. Norman's just a great college town, and it's that's what it is. They live and breathe, Sooner Nation. It's Sooner Nation. So wherever you go, you see the Sooner flags. The stadium is sold out, continuously. There's not an empty seat. People just that crimson and cream, man. So you got so many fans there just in the state of Oklahoma. But that Norman town, for me, it was just like the perfect town, like college town, because that's all it was there. OU football. You had a couple high schools there, obviously people lived there, but it was they should rename it to, OU Nation, because that's seriously what it is. So no matter where you went, no matter what restaurant you went to, no matter if it was a bar or the store or the gas station, you were running into Sooner fans, people that's been there for years and decades, and they live and breathe Sooner football. So it's a unique feeling. You have to be a part of it to fully understand it, and that's why, for me, it's my second home.
Yep, great memories. Such a special place. Everyone can go follow Adrian on social media at Adrian Peterson, Twitter, Instagram. Adrian, we wish you the best of luck with whatever you end up doing next, broadcasting, whatever it may be. Keep trying new things, man. It's good for the soul. And thank you for coming on with the One Star Recruits.
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me.
I know listeners right now are thinking, hey, wait a minute, where are Rip's reactions? Don't worry, we're doing them at the end of the pod. Stick with us. We're going to do them at the end. Right now, though, let's congratulate the Texas Rangers. Congratulations. Huge congratulations. They bought a shit ton of players a couple years ago in 2021. And guess what they got returned? Back to the World Series. First time in 12 years.
First time in 12 years, and I was surprised to see that they're one of, I believe, 6 teams that has never won a World Series. I think back to like the Nolan Ryan days, and even like Juan Gonzalez and Pudge Rodriguez. Like I know they've been there before, but they've never won a World Series. DK, that was surprising to me.
Always a bridesmaid, never a bride to these Texas Rangers. They're kind of a boring team, but they're growing on me a little bit. Did the dude Adolis Garcia? Have you heard his story, Rip?
Adolis, yeah, he was in the home run derby, man, and he's got a flair for the dramatic. 15 RBIs in the ALCS. That's incredible.
It's crazy. He's peaking at the right time. He was born in Cuba. He played baseball in Japan. He paid his salary back to the government and then was defected to the Dominican Republic. He then signed with the St. Louis Cardinals and was traded to the Rangers for cash considerations. And now here's the dude, the ALCS MVP. And like Rip just said, it's crazy numbers for the postseason. That's nuts.
I like to see guys like that succeed, DK. It's going to be the reason we're only talking about the Rangers, by the way, just disclaimer, because this is Tuesday before Game 7 of the D-backs Phillies.
Yes.
So we have no idea who they're going to play. But so we're just giving our flowers to the Rangers right now. But man, if the D-backs win tonight, I hate the Rangers.
Not cool to even talk about it without it happening. It's happening tonight, so we're not gonna spook or mess up the flow of the Diamondbacks. Fingers crossed, though. We'll talk about them next week, win or lose. We're very proud of them, but good pre-qualifier to throw that in there. Why are they talking about the Rangers? I am though proud of the Rangers. They did kind of like the Golden State Warriors did a little bit when they decided to go in and spend that money. I think it was 2021. The Rangers lost 102 games. Their most, I think, in their whole history. That's a lot of losing games, 102. All the stands were empty. That offseason, they spent $561 million on free agents. So, maybe you can buy championships, Rip. We've watched the Yankees for years do it. We're watching Golden State put it together.
Well, all you got to do apparently is hire that man Bruce Bochy, DK. That guy's in the World Series like every other year.
Every other year.
How much did they spend on him?
Probably not that much. He only likes maybe a chaw. He likes Italian food, so they might get him Italian food every night as catering, and he's in. No state income tax in Texas.
No state income tax, and he's the number one example that a huge head equals a huge brain. I mean, he is the guy that's the biggest head in sports
Huge
and the
head.
biggest brain in sports. He's a magician, man. He's in the World Series every other year.
And I'm really impressed how you said Garcia's first name. I really massacred that one. Adelise, huh?
Adelise, hey, there you go with the flair there. I like it.
Adelise. I went with Adolis, I think, and that's almost on the verge of disrespectful. But baseball's good. I like the World Series. I like when the weather starts to change. Like all sports casts, we'll talk about the best time of year. The NBA's dropping off. College football's in conference play. We got postseason. NFL's pumping along. We talked Minnesota Vikings. Most people don't know that Rip here, my partner on this podcast, is an ultimate value guy. I have in front of me, bro, a list of NBA tip-offs this week. It's happening last night, Tuesday, which is always a fun night. Nice to tune in. I have in front of me, bro, the NBA home opener get-in ticket prices. Get-in ticket prices. This is the cheapest ticket in the building, but it can get you in. You've been buying these cheap-ass seats for years, bro, so this is a familiar zone with you. I just want you to maybe guess the first three cheapest tickets and the price. It doesn't have to go too long, but give me the three NBA teams that you think you can get in the door for opening night for the cheapest price and what that price would be.
Charlotte Hornets, New Orleans Pelicans, and I'm going to say Orlando Magic.
None of those made the top three. Take that back. Charlotte did. Number three, the Memphis Grizzlies, surprisingly. You can get in the building for $14. No Ja Morant. That makes sense.
You can still buy a house in Tennessee for like $250,000, like a really nice house. So that makes sense.
Very true. Great point. Hornets, you mentioned you can get in to check out LaMelo Ball for $14 tonight or tomorrow. No problem. This is the deal of the century, though. I know we have a lot of fans listening in Indiana and Indianapolis. This is a good team. This is going to be a team that makes the playoff, these Indiana Pacers. Go get your upper levels ticket right now for $9, Rip. The cheapest ticket in the NBA. The Indiana Pacers, $9. Great value.
Wow, what are we doing, Pacers fans? You got to drive those prices up. Like DK said, it's at least a 500 team. Come on.
You would think, man. You would think. Even the Phoenix Suns, $64. They don't crack the top three. Most expensive. Three most expensive. The Golden State Warriors, $172 for the cheapest ticket. The Lakers, which always an expensive seat, $179. And leading the charge, even in all these talks of Joel Embiid trade rumors, the New York Knicks still topping number one, $216 to get into the Garden and sit in that upper level. I'm excited. I'm going to go back and forth tonight, opening night of the Warriors and the Suns, our Phoenix Suns. Bradley Beal's going to be in street clothes still, so we don't get the full effect of that experience and the World Series. I'm very excited. I'm going to eat the rest of my pretzel bites that I bought at Costco 2 weeks ago. Still got 25 left, so I'm going to pop those bad boys in tonight. I'm excited. I'm very excited. I can't wait to get into the flow of the Tuesdays and Thursdays with NBA on TNT and catching Victor Wembanyama when I can. Just watching the preseason games. I fucking love it. He is changing the game with what he does in his body type. I go on some other podcasts. They ask me, what in sports should we keep our eyes open for if we're not big sports fans? I'll say it again on this podcast because I said it on that one. While the price is still low and he's healthy, a lot of these guys get hurt who are big like this and do special things. I'm actually talking to you, Rip. Maybe get some Clippers tickets now. Go get some lower level seats to watch Victor Wembanyama play basketball. I think this is a whole new type of human, and his game will change the way basketball could be played moving forward, just like Steph Curry did, just a bigger version. So that's my NBA advice, man. Are you going to take me up on it? I know you never take me up on any advice. Did you take a cold shower last week?
I took 60 seconds, the last 60 seconds of my shower. I did a cold shower, and I mean I've done it before, DK. So I knew the drill and I knew what to expect, but I don't like it. I'm not a fan, DK. I'll tell you that much. I do not like it at all.
You like that, but okay, big butt.
But I did take your advice. Remember last season, we took our kids to see Shohei Ohtani before he's probably out of Anaheim. We went to the Angels game against I believe it was the Mariners. So we saw him. So it feels like a little Wembanyama feels a little like that. I mean, he only comes to LA twice a year, but
yeah,
it feels a little like that, DK, where at some point you got to take the kids to see this guy in person.
You got to. And there's an injury risk with guys like that with that body type. So you never know if it could end quicker than not. I was kind of speaking of other things that you have to see, I was kind of thought when that sphere in Vegas dropped, it was a little bit gawky, kind of lame. I've changed my mind on the sphere. In fact, I'm almost want to do a trip to see the sphere. Sports wasn't so keen on it when it first dropped. And I believe I read an article that said the sphere wasn't built for sports. Still, bro, in the last several weeks, it's already become, check this out, a favorite to host the NHL draft. How cool to host the draft there. With the whole outside, you can announce the draft, and then the inside, you can have all kinds of crazy things going on. An NBA jersey patch sponsor. Well, I'll talk about that in a sec because it's a little inside baseball, but now the Sphere is an actual NBA jersey patch sponsor, and then likely a host for UFC. Dana White said it's a dream place for UFC, but this was absolutely not built for sports. So that's kind of cool. Speaking of that Sphere logo landed on the New York Knicks jerseys, bro. Guess who owns the Sphere? Guess who
MSG.
owns the New York Knicks?
MSG.
Your boy James Dolan. So he's kind of keeping that. I don't know how that works. He's kind of paying for his own, maybe marketing. $30 million a year to put that patch on a jersey. That's how much it costs nowadays.
It's probably one of the best ideas of the last 25 years. I didn't even honestly because I sent you a picture 2 months ago. We were staying at the Venetian back in August, and right outside our window is the view of the Sphere. It's amazing. It changes colors and like patterns every like hour or so. During the night, it's lit up like a giant moon. It looks incredible. I didn't even know that there was an inside that you could actually do stuff in. But yeah, like just to find that out, because by itself as a marketing tool, you saw it during NBA Summer League, lit up like a basketball. As a marketing tool, just the outside of it's incredible. But when I found out there's an inside, it's a game changer, man. You can do anything in there. It's going to be, like I said, probably one of the best ideas of the last 25 years. And it's a ball. It's a fucking round ball. Simple, but
all the
amazing.
screens on the inside, so everything is interactive, all the speakers and all the seats. It's the whole new thing. I think the Sphere, it came off at first a little bit like cringe, what are we doing? I think you'll see a Sphere in every major city. I think Dolan's group will do this like Tau, completely different entity, but Tau is now in Chicago and New York. I think you'll see a Sphere. This is the new IMAX. The Sphere is a new IMAX.
It's a new iPhone, DK. The thing is amazing, but I think Vegas is the perfect place for it. If you try to put one in like Dallas or something, it doesn't really make sense to me. So I hope they don't kill it like that. But it holds 15,000 people in there. That's how big that thing is. 15,000, DK.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm into that. It smells and it looks like something that I would never be into, but I'm on board. I want to check it out. Sign me up. The desert, the Southwest is doing all this. They're very innovative this day. Maybe it's the heat. Maybe it's because it's starting to hit 130 degrees, 135 degrees in the Southwest. The Waste Management Tour, big golf event in Phoenix, announced that DraftKings and the PGA Tour are going to bring something new to the TPC Scottsdale. You ready for this, Rip? You ready for this game changer?
I always want to know if Nick B's going back. What is it? What is
Nick B might be going back, but we're turning golf events into the new horse racing of the
live betting.
Live betting, bro. First one ever coming. They're going to drop 32 betting kiosks, 3,400 feet of television coverage, a 7-ticket window. So you can actually go get your ticket at the window, which I know you love that exchange, bro. Makes you feel alive. They're going to add bar and dining room and outdoor entertainment right on the course. Game changer. This is the first time we're actually seeing it in the building in one of the major sports, and it happens to be golf, a little bit more controllable, something like the Waste Management, because everybody's betting already. This is just the first time that you're going to get that horse betting experience, which is so good. Get with your friends, stand in line, walk up places. The nervousness of placing a bet on venue, much more interactive than hopping on your phone. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be another wrinkle in the Waste Management, and I think this is just the beginning of seeing live betting on site.
But that's also already like the most out of control environment at a golf tournament. Like it's just going to add to the chaos. That thing's going to be nuts. Poor Nick B. I'm praying for him going out there next week, trying to make his way through all that stuff. It's going to be insane.
He'll get out. What'd you give him next week? We got some more time before next week here, Rip.
No, next in January, right before the
January. Yeah. January golf tournaments. We'll see if it drops at any other. I think it'd be cool to see even out here at the Century at the Tour of Champions, the first one in Maui and at the Plantation course. We'll see. I'm into it. Maybe we'll post some pictures, Rip. I'll send you a picture. They did a little draw up of what it will look like. I think it's cool. I think it's a good place to kick it off. Dude, breaking news. You want some breaking news on your favorite college football player, Rip? Brendan Rice?
Oh, Jaden Daniels, come on. What do you got?
Oh, Jaden, number one. I know you like Brendan Rice, so he's in your top three. USC wide receiver. Anybody who's listening, son of Jerry Rice. He has signed a nil deal. I think you'll appreciate this one.
Is it goat fuel? What is it?
Maybe he might be on a goat fuel. He has signed a nil deal with Breathe Right strips, the same strips that his pops endorsed in the 90s, bro.
Oh, I love that, man. I love that. Yeah, he's a budding star, DK. He's a sleeper in the NFL draft, and yeah, budding star. I got my SC hat on right now, if you didn't notice. So yeah, let's go, man. Breathe Right strips. I might buy some of those. Been having a little congestion lately.
Oh yeah, that's maybe your 1-star moment of the week. What is your 1-star? Listeners, we do any moments that are just 1-star. We all have them. We talk about them. Rip, it sounds like maybe you got some sleep apnea. You are 47, popping up in your life. What's your 1-star moment?
No, that's exactly what it is, DK. My 1-star moment is just illness, man. I feel like ever since COVID, there's no such thing as a 2 or 3 day cold anymore, no matter what it is. It's like weeks and months. Like you're lucky being out there in Hawaii. I don't think you come in contact with any humans. It's just you and the dogs and your wife. So you can't really catch anything. But man, these kids are coming home from school with stuff. My wife's coming back from work with stuff. I work from home, but I've been sick for like 4 or 5 weeks. I can't shake it. It's probably been a series of like 2 or 3 different colds. But like I said, ever since COVID, man, it feels like there's no more 2 or 3 day colds. You're stuck with it for like months or a whole season. I can't shake it, DK.
Sounds terrible, man. Sounds terrible. People just breathing all these toxins and carcinogens back to your house from wherever they are. And you need to get your family needs to do a whole wipe down before they get back in the house. You ever tried taking daily zinc?
Never tried, man. I don't really take any supplements, but I don't know that that's the answer, man. I don't think that stuff helps. I gotta move to we're just in Yellowstone and the air is amazing up there. There's no people. I think I gotta move up there to stay healthy at this point.
Shit, move to Palestine, Texas, bro. There's good air out there.
There you go.
You have zinc. A lot of people don't like the supplements. They think just you pee them out, really is the argument that I've heard to it. But I've been on a nice little mix. I don't see as many humans. You're right. They bring that stuff into your house. Who knows? I've been doing a little mix of fish oil. I do a daily men's vitamin. They're gummies. A zinc and a vitamin D. That's the morning vitamin intake. The zinc, though, really helps that immune system, man. Next time you're at the grocery store and you're walking down the vitamin aisle, I know you look and everything's above $9.99 or $14.99, so you would never buy. Just look at a small bottle of zinc tablets and try to pop one of those. We'll see. We'll see in a month. We can do an A/B test.
I've tried it before. Yeah, I mean, if I get on it and it works, it'll definitely be my merc of the week in a couple weeks. So yeah, zinc. Yeah, I'll try it. I'm all for it. Anything to shake this stuff, man.
Constantly sick. It's kind of gross, Bram.
What's your 1-star moment of the week, you healthy bastard?
The most embarrassing thing is when sports podcasts, life podcasts in general, talk about their fantasy football team. I'm going to talk about my fantasy football team. I gave up this week on Lamar Jackson, like a lot of people did. A lot of bettors gave up on the Baltimore Ravens versus the Detroit Lions. I gave up on Lamar Jackson. I benched him. I decided to start Brock Purdy and hope that I could get a Purdy to Kittle double down connection. You know what I mean? All you fantasy players. No Deebo Samuel. CMC was banged up. I thought this was the play. First quarter, I knew Lamar had the juice. He had one of the best games in years that he's had. He put up 45 points sitting on my bench. As we know, Minnesota beat the Niners up, and Brock Purdy barely fought to about 15 points, showed that he's human in this system. Very measly showing. It's a classic case of 1-star overthinking is what happened there. I picked the guy early, play the guy, trust your guy is the name of the game.
Oh, it's the one of the biggest mistakes in fantasy sports is you don't get the big week. If you bench him, you risk not getting those big weeks, so it just wastes your entire draft pick on him. But and the other side of that, DK, is we played each other in your other league, and I had Lamar and Andrews, so that tight end quarterback connection you were looking for out of Purdy and Kittle, I had going against you, and I think I scored like 135. It was amazing. It was the best week of my season.
Classic overthinking. And you know what? Our matchup, even though it was a completely different league, tell me if this happens to you sometimes if you're in multiple leagues. you think, well, if I'm going to go all in against Lamar, I got to root for him not to do well. This was your team. And so with that theory, I'm going to bench him too and put in my other guys and hope that we just get a bad showing. The complete opposite happened. I think it's just very one star embarrassing, trying to be too smart, trying to outsmart the system. I'm not doing it anymore.
I think my number one rule of fantasy football now has become just don't overthink it. Play your best guys regardless of matchup, because they're going to go off in some tough matchups. Like, we thought Detroit had a great defense, which they might, but Lamar just tore them up and scored almost 40 points in fantasy. So just pick out your best guys. Don't try to play the matchups. Just play your best guys every week. That's my number one rule in fantasy. Just don't overthink it. It makes life a lot easier too, because you don't stress about it.
Well, you got to win over me, so I know you're feeling good right now. But too, you're not the smartest knife in the shed, bro. You kept Foreman on your bench. But you don't know it all.
That goes along with my thing. He's not one of my best players, so I'm not going to try to play the matchups. Even though the Raiders had a shitty run defense and he went off, I'm not going to try to play the matchups. I got to go with my best guys, DK. I went with Calvin Ridley and he scored 1 point, so it's going to hurt sometimes.
Raiders are so shitty. So shitty. 1-star recommendations of the week. We're here. Great part of the podcast. Any recommendations that put a smile on our face, made us feel like we're smarter than the rest of the world? I'll start, bro. I have a great exercise track here where I live. I have a wonderful hill in front of my house, and then I have this great running trail that's about half a mile each way. So you can do it 4 times, get 2 miles in, and then you can do the hill 3 or 4 times. Really, really nice setup for easy exercise. Recommendation of the week. I stepped it up a notch. Got a weight vest. You can get 8 pounds, 10 pounds, or 12 pounds. We got a 12-pound weight vest. You slap that thing on. Takes a normal workout, a normal walk, a normal life to the next level. Really might be the best $15 you spend, Rip. Hear me out. Going to school with the kids, you put on your weight vest. Going grocery shopping, you going over to ShopRite or the Piggly Wiggly, in Minnesota, put on your weight vest. Come back home, you got a little bit of a sweat. Guess what? Your shoulders get a little bit of a pump, and your midsection, your core, because you're doing ups and downs. You're just walking, but you're doing ups and downs side to side with your weight vests on. Recommendation of the week.
I'm a little skeptical, man. There's a dad that walks around our neighborhood picking his kids up from school in one of those, and he looks like the biggest tool and biggest D-bag in the neighborhood. But I don't know. Maybe it flies out there in Hawaii where you're just walking next to cows and
measure your love handles and your man boobs against him. Will tell the story.
Can you put it under your clothes like a bulletproof vest so nobody can see it, or do you have to wear it outside of your clothes?
Yeah, nobody's doing it out. I do, because I live in a farm away from nobody, so there's nobody around me. So I actually go no shirt, weight vest, do my workout. You are right. I guess if I saw it in the wild at a grocery store, because it does resemble maybe a bulletproof vest. You're right. You know what? You got to live with no fear, though. You got to not care what other people think if you want to reach your fitness goals, Rip. You're kind of built. That might
be the real recommendation of the week right there. Don't care what other people think.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, you're starting to get into the territory, Rip, of looking like a, you look very slender and weak right now. And I just need you to focus on muscle growth a little bit more. I know you're running and you're picking things up, but we need to get back into, looking like we need to get a weight vest. Maybe a weight vest and some ankle weights is the new combo for you. And we don't care what people think. You already don't care what people think about your bald head. Just go all in.
Kick a guy when he's down. The guy's been sick for a month and a half, and you're just insulting him like crazy. I still got you in the 40-yard dash, DK. We got to get that live.
Yeah, you probably still got me. But that's the recommendation. It's in the name of health. You know what? I got to give a small shout out to recommendation wise. A lot of people have been really down on FEMA, including myself. But FEMA came through with some serious help for our family this week. The word of the day with that stuff, anybody just like fighting through a hard thing, resilience. The last 3 months have been a wild ride, and staying resilient with the help of some of our friends and family and FEMA. It is not easy to work through government stuff at all. Very hard systems and not easy. But another moment of the week was not giving up. And especially working with these government entities ain't nothing easy, but FEMA really came through this last week. So big moment of the week of my family and life. Thank you, FEMA. Going to make the next couple months way easier for us, and I appreciate that. I appreciate our government.
That I second that, man, because I got a call from you last week, and these days I don't talk to you a lot outside of what's going on with the pod. But you called me with that news just out of the blue, and I could hear it in your voice, man. You were excited, and they turned that around really quickly once they got on top of it. So, yeah, I'm happy for you guys, man.
It's a relief, man. I mean, I'm going to be paying for a property that no longer exists for the next 3 to 5 years. So any help we can get is look forward to. So 2 thumbs up, FEMA, smiling, happy camper. What is your recommendation, Big Rip?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you real quick if you've seen the show, because it's going to change how I describe it. Have you heard or seen of the show Naked Attraction on Max?
Not only have I heard of it, I have not watched it, but wifey and I were in England maybe 2019, late night, hanging out in the hotel room, and that show came on where it's originally from England, and we were floored.
So
completely
you've seen it.
floored.
All right, you've seen it before it was big here, because it's blowing up over here in the U.S. They're talking about even doing a celebrity one, or at least a U.S. one. But yeah, that's it, man. So you know exactly what I'm gonna start talking about. It's on Max. It's called Naked Attraction. It's big in the UK. It was big. It's been, I think, since 2016. So it's been going on for like 6 seasons now. But it's crazy, DK. I mean, you could describe it as well as I can. It's a game show, a dating show, where all the contestants are buck naked, even the person that's picking the date. It's must see, DK, because it draws all kind of comparisons and makes you start thinking about things and this and that. But I mean, these are regular people, bare and all, showing everything, their faces, so their coworkers, family, everybody sees it. And it was a national hit. It's like the American Idol of the UK. So you got to think like every person in these person's lives have seen them buck naked now. So it's crazy, man. It's something I've never seen before, and it's not something you're gonna binge watch, but every once in a while you get in a mood and you want to watch an episode. It's must see TV, man.
Maybe if you want to feel better about yourself, a lot of uncut penises. They don't really care in England about the circumcision or not. It's a lot of uncut penises, a lot of pimples on butts. You know what I appreciate about the English version is they put the normal people up there.
Yeah,
boobs bigger than the others. If that ever came to the States, they'd make sure that good body parts. Respect for the British for keeping it real. Okay, keep putting up those uncut penises, and I'm not gonna watch it. I caught it one night 5 years ago, and it was enough for me to have a laugh and tell a future story. Looking at people's bits aren't entertainment for me. I don't think it's especially normal bits. Although maybe you feel better about yourself sometimes. So good rec, Rip. Good rec. Did you feel better about yourself or worse after watching it?
I think it depends on the episode, man, because there's 6 different contestants on each one, six men and 6 women, so 12 contestants. So yeah, like you're drawing comparisons in your head all the time, and it's it's very interesting, man. It's a show like no other, man. Naked Attraction. Everybody check it out.
Naked Attraction. 12 contestants, 6 penises, 12 sets of breasts. Who knows what will come? There's Rip's rec. Way to keep it classy on the pod, Rip. Hit the music. Let's do some Rip's reactions. Michigan has a spying staffer. They bought tickets at 11 Big Ten schools. 1 ticket, lower level, sitting across the bench. Word on the streets is Michigan has a little sign stealing dilemma. I don't see any problem with this. Do you?
I think we do, man. That's why it's such an issue. This stuff is not kosher. It's like the Patriots when they were doing Deflategate, and it's a sneaky way of trying to gain an advantage, and they're pinning it all on this one like student assistant, DK, who had, like you said, middle section seats for like, I think it's going back like 3 years, like every game. It's like where there's smoke, there's fire. It sounds very shady to me, and you know what? Honestly, Jim Harbaugh seems right up his alley for me.
I mean, really? We live in a time where you can pause, rewind, change camera angles. Don't send a staffer there. Send somebody else there. I mean, Bill Belichick, who, by the way, just signed an extension with the Patriots, has been doing this forever on the low. It just seems like this day and age, big what to do about nothing. Who cares? Guess what? Like baseball, change your play calls. Maybe unlike, who was it, Sean Payton, holding up your playbook for the world to see backwards, and now everybody knows your plays. How about you get a little bit smarter? Everybody has things connected to their ears and different things. It's not 1984 anymore. I don't see the big deal about this. I think it's a little bit, I don't know. I don't see a big deal about it. I don't think it's a problem.
Hey,
I think people just hate Michigan. Hey, people hate Michigan, bro.
everybody hates the Houston Astros because that sign stealing scandal like 6 years ago. So I don't know. Michigan might be the new Astros. We'll see.
Maybe. Belichick got an extension. Antetokounmpo, Giannis got an extension. In the NBA, some young guys got some extensions. Some big money starting to go around. If you could have one extension of something that's going good in your life, Rip, that you know could last from 5 to 6 more years, what extension would you like? And not your penis.
Yeah, that'd be number one for sure. No, it's got to be, I think, just good health in general. Like, fortunately, I haven't had any major issues anywhere in my family so far. So I think it's that, because anytime you can buy 5 years of health, it's there's no price you can put on that, DK.
Indiana 5-star freshman Mackenzie Magako. Not a good story, Rip. Not a good story. Was arrested on 2 misdemeanor charges. Indiana football having just the hardest time. He was arrested at one of our favorite places, Taco Bell, for not leaving the drive-thru. Indiana, just if you could get on what do you call it in school when you would talk on the thing in the morning and the principal would talk to you?
On the intercom?
The intercom. Just go ahead and get on the intercom right now for Indiana Athletics Department and talk to them.
Yeah, I think I'd want to just give him an Anthony Robbins like positivity speech, because I mean, I'll tell you what though, I felt that guy's pain, because in my teens and 20s there were some late nights at Taco Bell where I was ready to break in the store to get my quesadilla with no green sauce, DK. So I felt his pain, but I think my speech would be, listen, Hoosiers, you got to stay on the up and up. We're under the microscope right now. Not a lot is going well. There's a lot wrong with the world, but we can make it a positive environment here in Bloomington. And just stay on the up and up. Do the right thing. Be kind. Random acts of kindness. Be positive. Let's just not mess anything up. 3 strikes and you're out, DK. We got the football team. We got this Taco Bell incident. One more thing, and Indiana's going to be like the Arizona State's going to be like the butt of jokes on all these TV shows. So come on, Hoosiers, pull it together.
Pull it together. 1-star recruits. We're going to be back next week. We have another great interview with an NBA legend. We're going to be doing some more NBA stuff, so get excited for that. We appreciate all the 1-stars out there for listening, for giving 5 stars, for supporting the podcast. Really, really excited about the last couple episodes, man. That Chris Herron episode, if you haven't listened, has just been getting a lot of positive feedback, and we love doing this. So we're going to keep bringing them to you in the name of health, wealth, and the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm knocking on some wood. Hopefully, having a great game. I'm not going to say it. Keep it plain. I'm not even going to say it. It's bad mojo. Go Diamondbacks. Go Cardinals. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.